Good afternoon, everybody. Today is the August 25, 2025 meeting of the Commission on Disability. My name is Brian Gallagher. I am the chairman. Other commissioners are sitting with me. We're going to get started. It's about 5 minutes of 4. No one is participating remotely. One of the members who used to participate remotely, Ray Phoenix, sadly passed away shortly after our last meeting. He will be missed. He was a great guy and a good member. Which kind of brings me to one of the next things. First of all, we do the approval of the minutes of the prior meeting. Did everybody get the minutes? And did
Yes.
you have an opportunity to review them?
Yes.
Would you like to make any changes or recommendations?
No. Is this spelling your name?
No, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Anybody want to
Seriously.
second the motion?
Second. Right. You did it right.
All in favor?
Oh, sorry.
Aye.
I was just asking her because last time I think her name was spelled wrong. I thought maybe in the minutes
okay,
you could
Rick
make sure you
fixed it.
spell her name right.
I did.
Fix,
I'll do my best. All
I
in
know.
favor of
Aye.
approving
Aye.
minutes?
Aye.
Minutes are approved.
It's like the kids in the back of the classroom and the teachers like.
And to satisfy one of our obstreperous members, I will try to check the spelling of everybody's name.
Well, that Feidelberg is a difficult one because it's I before E, except after C, except in neighbor and way, right? Is that what you say?
I know,
And she's
and you're gonna laugh, Brian.
one of the exceptions.
You're gonna laugh because when he sent out the last email to everybody, he spelt my name wrong.
What about
You
the,
did.
what about the letter weird, the word weird?
Weird?
Yeah.
Think I'm weird?
There's several of them. Yeah, it's true. Goes along with weird, Feidelberg. Yeah, Feidelberg weird, yeah, okay. Go ahead.
We need to discuss a replacement for Ray now that he's gone.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows of somebody who might be willing to participate, please let us all know.
Got to make a comment on that. Before we just blindly ask somebody to join the commission, I think we should make sure it's, a questionnaire or a question should be asked, which is why do you want to join the commission, or not to put someone in the spot, but to see what they can bring to the commission.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? Because I was asked to fill a seat, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't think we should necessarily do that, just to make sure every committee that we have in Westport has enough members on it, you know what I mean? So just make sure it's somebody, that we feel, I don't know, Brian, you know what I'm trying to say? I don't know if we should have a questionnaire or we should have an interview. I mean, that's what most people do when they,
And like you, when I was asked all those years ago, it was obvious that I had a disability. And I was asked, would you like to join? Not, what can you do for
Right.
us? Or what are your thoughts about? It was like, would you like to join? And I said, yeah, of course I would. But
Sure.
you're right. If we're going to talk to somebody, we should ask them, what can they bring to the commission? Our big focus these days has been on accessibility and ways we can make the town more accessible for our disabled residents. So hopefully the next person we have fill in Ray's seat will be able to address the accessibility issue.
now Jeff Bull has approached us a couple of times, right? We were at the River Day and also at another meeting, and he mentioned somebody who I believe is a quadriplegic, but comes with his father because, I mean, he's so disabled.
Right.
But a really smart man, a passionate man about disability issues.
And-
So he couldn't remember his name, he's gonna try to get that information for, he lives in Westport, right? Or yeah. I think that'd be fine. I mean, if his dad came along, like, he would be making the decisions, but the father would be here to help him, obviously, as a caretaker, and I thought that was,
Jeff is a neighbor of mine, so
Okay.
I can
okay, great.
I can call him. And also, Martin, just so you know, Jeff was the one who got me the badge and the business card.
Who did?
Jeff, both.
For God's sake, wait till I talk to Jeff Bull. That's funny. I didn't know that. But listen, we can have up to 13 members. I know we don't want to have, we don't necessarily need 13 members, but my point is, we don't need just one person to take the place of Ray. If anybody else knows somebody else, you know what I mean? Let's get a couple more in so we don't have a problem when someone's ill or can't make it, and we have at least have a quorum. And,
Yeah.
Sometimes, Martin, it's like herding cats.
what does that
We
mean?
have too many people,
True.
you know. I will give Jeff a call.
I just don't want I'm bringing that up, Brian, because I don't want people to think, because now we know that Jeff Bull knows somebody, that other folks, other commissioners here won't
Yep.
look for somebody.
Months ago, I received an email from someone
Oh.
who expressed an interest in joining. That was before we did not have any vacancies, so I'll try to go back through my old email
Okay.
and see if I can find that person and reach out to them as well. So make a note to do that.
I think it might be a good idea what do you guys think, to like, if somebody's interested in joining, to ask them to come to one of our meetings, and we grill them. No, I don't mean grill them. And we ask them questions, seriously. You know, we just ask them some questions of why would they want to be on the commission, and do they have any experience in this or that, or would they be open to doing some online courses, or whatever might be necessary. What kind of time can they dedicate? Because as you know, we have a lot of time because we're retired, and you guys are working. So I'd like to know those kind of things, so we can spread some of the work around and that kind of deal.
And are they willing to do what you two have been doing lately, is going to all these events and representing our commission?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great.
It's been wonderful. But I think, though, too, is that if other people do want to, if they do have availability in their schedules, we're kind of like writing everything down, so in hopes that next year, we'll have a calendar of events, and then you might say, oh, Lisa, I can do River Day this year, or Brian, you might turn around and say, oh, I'd like to go to do that presentation. You know what I mean? To give the opportunity for everyone to go and be visible in the community, because I think it's important for all of us to be recognized, not only for what we do, but so that other constituents can bring accessibility, address certain maybe issues, or maybe there's no accessibility in a neighborhood type of event that they're looking for accessibility and didn't realize, Rick only lives 2 streets over from us. We can ask him, you know what I mean, and know that it's Rick, that he actually sits on the commission as well.
So other boards that I participate on, it's pretty typical to have to answer a question about why you'd like to join and what value you believe you'd bring to the board, and then also provide some sort of a basic resume, just so that you can see background, skills, and experience and where that may overlap. I don't think it's unreasonable for some combination of that. So I think that's a good suggestion. The other thing, it helps to enforce a bit of governance, so that it's not just anybody that express interest is automatically kind of voted on, right? I think that having some process through which we can make sure that we've got the right people and the right skill set and the right
I agree with you.
contributions, I think
100%
that makes
100%.
sense.
And I think it's a good idea to invite somebody to come to a meeting if
Yeah.
they have an interest.
Yep.
So if they can see what we do and see if they want to participate.
Yep.
I didn't realize how important this committee is, with the ADA backing, that, we are to enforce. That's federal law. I mean, we have some real strength here to do things and make sure we get accessibility and everything else. So it's good to have people that, folks have got to know about the ADA. They can't just come on and go like, oh, I haven't even heard of it. Something like that. Some basic stuff like that is what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Well, you're right. Personal experience, I had to go and have treatment when I had skin cell cancer, and I had to get onto a table over at South Coast Health. And I can't stand and pivot on my own. I need a lift. And I said to them, do you have a lift? Because that's the only way I can transfer. And they said, no. And it wasn't until I sent an email saying, this is a violation of the ADA for you not to have a lift. The ADA mandates that every medical facility have at least one lift available. Very, very soon thereafter, I received a response saying, we'll have a lift.
Good.
Come on over.
Right.
Of course, they didn't know how to use the lift. They needed somebody to train.
I was going to say, they got to train people too. They can't just have the equipment there. They need to have people trained in dealing with folks with disabilities.
But here's a hospital who didn't comply.
Yeah.
It's
right
not,
here.
it's not hard to learn how to use the lift. You just,
Just have to have
few
the safety
steps
mechanism.
that you need to do.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Well, because of you, Brian, other people now have accessibility to do just that, because you brought it to their attention.
Well, I hope that's true.
I hope that's,
Thank you.
I'll reach out to the school too, both administration, teachers, also some parents we know too. There may be some
Good.
interested
Good idea.
people on that side that would want to participate.
the other thing too, I just would want to mention briefly is now where the new school year will be starting, I don't know what our responsibility is for accessibility for either the middle school or the high school. I know that they have accessibility on certain levels, but I don't know if we have a responsibility to make sure that all of that is addressed for our families and children in the school system. I don't even know if we've ever addressed that.
I don't know. No, we haven't, but.
I know as I'm going through the classes for the, what is the name of it? The ADA coordinator, I'm learning more and more about different things that the coordinator comes to the table with. And I'll put like a brief scenario if you want for the classes that I've taken thus far, like a summary if you'd like.
Well, it's important because now that Mr. Hartnett is leaving us for retirement,
Yep.
hopefully the new town administrator has at least some knowledge of the ADA, because we're going to look to that person to be the ADA coordinator for it.
Right.
That should be the person going to the schools, or at least calling the superintendent to say, is there anything, in helpful ways, anything we can do to, give you information, resources on making sure the children are following?
Well, the town administrator thus far that I've researched is responsible for and all training for all people that are employed by the town to have that knowledge with not only the directors, but each department he's responsible for the training and any type of issues that might arise, whether it be complaints or some type of concern with regards to safety. There's 42 classes that are taken to have a certified ADA coordinator. I'm doing the classes as a courtesy, just so that we know what the coordinator is responsible for.
I think it's a great
And
idea.
then we can kind of educate ourselves, even if we just did it by summary and topic, throughout the year, rather than, I think I have 11 classes under my belt right now.
Oh, great.
So it's a work in progress, and my hope is that knowing what the person who takes that position, it will be helpful to know what they're responsible for. And then this way we'll be educated ourselves.
I think it's good to have somebody on our commission with some of the background, even though we're going to have an ADA coordinator, like as the main person, because we'd be able to look to you. There are a lot of times very busy, but we could look to
Oh,
you
yeah.
or to somebody and say, what do you know about this? Or
Yeah.
should this ADA coordinator be doing this, that, or the other thing, or whatever? I just feel like they should be doing the school thing. At least making sure that the schools are,
Sure.
yeah.
And it's funny because I did speak to Mr. Hartnett one time when I was doing something here at the town hall, and he was like, Lise, where are you getting those classes? And I was like, well, they're online, and they are complimentary to people that are, because I registered with the gentleman that you know.
Yeah.
When we took the class.
Jeff, Dugan.
And he was like, let me know, if there's anything, I can answer any questions, but there are some things that, he hadn't had the opportunity to take the classes.
Right.
And of course, he's overwhelmed with
Yeah,
the other
it's a lot. There's a lot to
responsibility that he
that,
has
sure,
to do. So I figured anybody who wants to, take a class or do anything would just benefit the commission as a whole.
Yeah.
Speaking of the ADA coordinator, we have an ADA transition team here in town,
Yes.
and not all of our members are on that, but some of our members are, Martin and myself. Anders used to be, but Anders is gone. Martin, do we have a third member? Have we?
Yeah, there's one seat available.
We don't have a third member.
Okay. So, if anybody wants to throw their hat in the ring to be the third member, of course, now that the evaluation has been done for the updated plan, there's not much for the ADA transition team to do at this point.
Right, the plan is for 5 years, so by the fourth year, we'll start gearing up again and having some meetings to decide, to look at that plan, what have we covered, what haven't we covered, what do we need to cover, and so forth and so on. So if anybody wants to be part of it.
I just actually read it through the open space because they had to incorporate that
Oh, yeah.
with the open space.
Yeah, that's
so I
very
had
important.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks good. It's done
does.
very well.
A lot of information there.
Next item on the agenda is the National Night Out. The police in town had
Oh,
the
we had so much fun.
National Night Out
Yes.
recently.
Yeah, we touched on that. It was a great success. It was the first time the Westport Police Department got involved with that, and the fire department as well, I believe, had a good contingency of people there. Good crowd. We had a table. Several people came up to us. Again, this is why I think it's important to have the marketing materials and also to be at these events, because people, first of all, a lot of them hadn't even heard of us, so it's great for them to come, oh, what do you guys do? And then I also spoke to a few people. We'll be talking about this in a later part of the agenda about the Cherry and Webb Lane. I was asking a few folks what they thought about that trail to get to the beach and so forth, and what they thought maybe a solution might be. Conversation, right, with the community. So anyway, it was great. It was very well worth it.
Well, good.
I took some pictures. Brian, if you'd like to take a picture of our vice president there sitting at our table. So we had our tablecloth out there along with, we gave some of the kids some candies, and we celebrated with all of the area businesses. Stop and Shop was there. They came over. Obviously, we were with the Council on Aging and the Recreation Department. The police and fire came over, thanking us for everything that we do, and it was really a nice.
Next door to us was a Westport Credit Union.
Oh, yeah, the
About that,
Westport
yeah.
Credit Union was next door to us, and they were just absolutely wonderful. They talked to us about what they do for handicap accessible at their bank, and Tony, who is a retired police detective, I believe, who's also a member of the Westport Council on Aging, came over and thanked us for everything that we do, and we, of course, thanked them for everything that they do. And it was really amazing to see, because I know that our vice president embraces the shirts. Every single department that represented at the National Night Out, no matter what department they came from, they all had T-shirts that represented the Recreation Department, the Police Department, Stop and Shop, all of that. And it really solidified what Martin has been saying, that we were the only ones that didn't have a shirt.
I did have a Superman shirt.
Yes, he had a shirt
I
on.
thought it was the closest to a disability
No,
commissioner.
understood. You probably deserve to be there with
No,
us.
I can't. But it would have been nice to have, and I know you guys said it was okay, and I think,
Yes.
I think it's a good direction to go in. How do you guys feel about that? Is that all right to purchase them? I mean, we're going to spend some money on it, but not a lot, yes?
No, I picked up a shirt from Martin. We're having his done first, and it's basically, it has our seal. It's a navy blue Commonwealth shirt, so it
And the
represents the
Superman
town.
logo.
No Superman logo. We might give him a little cape if he's a good boy. But it has the logo on one side, and it obviously says the town of Westport. It will say Commission on Disability underneath, and then on the right-hand side, it will just say Commissioner, and that'll be it. And it's like a
Polo shirt.
a polo
shirt,
shirt.
yeah, it's very
Navy blue,
casual.
Very casual.
Very nice.
Navy blue. And I think I got them on sale at Macy's for like $25, and the gentleman, one of our guys is actually going to embroider it for us, and I think once they're done, you guys will take a peek at them, and I think you'll be happy with them.
Well, ultimately, when we decide on the cards and the shirts, and there is a cost involved, get receipts, and Martin knows the process. You go to the town accountant
At least it knows
and get
I showed the
reimbursed
process.
for it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We have the money in our account, and of course, I have not checked yet, but the summertime is a time when a lot of people violate the parking ordinance, and if they're caught parking illegally in a handicapped parking spot, that money comes to our commission. So
Great.
I don't yet know how much more money we have, but money is there to spend, and so if you need to be reimbursed for these things, just present the
Thank you.
receipts, because they will not reimburse us without the receipt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yep, I have the receipts, sure. And we're being mindful of the cost as well. I think it was only like $20 for the shirts. I don't know what it's gonna cost us to get right now, we only have 2 shirts ordered, just so that you could see the difference, and then whatever you guys are comfortable with. If you want the short sleeved, or if you want a long sleeve, when you see them, you can decide, and then we can just place the order for the additional shirts and sizes.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next thing I put on the agenda is something we've touched on already, but something that we really should talk about some more, is marketing materials for the Commission on Disability. We're going to have cards made, which are great,
Yes.
but we should update the brochure. Years and years ago, when, even before I first got on the and
I had one
the
here.
brochure was made,
It's so out of date, it's, yeah.
and, at the time, the thought was in that brochure, it should be Westport without borders.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's mentioned in that brochure. Which is akin to our feeling that Westport should be accessible to everyone. Now, there's not a heck of a lot in town that we have to worry about. The town hall, the town hall annex, the new schools. Of course, once they decide what to do with the old high school, and that's still an ongoing discussion,
I agree.
we should have some input into that and making it accessible for people in town, because there are, surprisingly, I think 2,000 people in town, or they designate themselves as having a disability. Now, many of them are older folks who don't want to go into all these new schools and things, but some of them might have kids who have issues that need accessibility. So,
Sure.
but we're working on the shirts, we're working on the cards, and
We need a brochure. We had,
update of the brochure.
I had a flyer that Dana helped us put together that we handed out at the National Night Out, which is fine, but the brochure is just so much nicer.
I have a template that's being worked on now. I'm getting it. It's going to be a trifold. I've only done the front page for it to represent, obviously, the commission with our seal, and then, of course, the shape of our town, that kind of thing. So if you look at the brochure being like a trifold this way, I've already designed this part, which would be the face of it, and of course the back of it, which would be general contact information. And I used the old brochure that you had mentioned, Brian, that was in the archives box that Martin and I are
Yep.
currently going through, that Mr. Hartnett had given us. And then it leaves like 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. So we were gonna kind of like shift to you, Rick, and see, like Martin did it, you guys actually did a great job with regards to the playground. Do we want to feature the playground? Things which I wasn't a part of the commission then. There might be things that like that Martin is thinking of, or Rick and Brian, that you might have done within the last year or two that you might want featured to give a more updated activities as to what the commission has done lately, rather than bringing it all the way back to like 1980 something, which was when the last brochure that was done. And when I have it all done in the proper format, the vector format and all of that, I'll bring it in, and then you guys can mock it up and say you like this, you don't like this, and see what it looks like, and then add the rest of the content to it. I didn't do anything with content.
I got a couple of suggestions. Maybe for next meeting, we can come back with some suggestions each of us has of what should be in the brochure. Let me give an example. I think we should have a picture of the handicap accessible trail that's over at Westport Woods. I think that's a wonderful addition.
Great idea.
Perhaps a picture of the Moby mats down at the Nubble would be another, something that's timeless, so that, what I'm saying, I won't have to
Yes.
change it up all the time. The playground, for example, whatever. Any kind of accomplishments we had. I personally don't think we should put the names of the commissioners in there because we change all the time. But I do think there should be a mission statement, and I don't think we really have a a technical one, that anybody's ever written up. So maybe we can come up with that as well, like on the front page, what we're all about. We kind of wrote one. This isn't the one, I had added some more stuff, but next meeting I'll bring it. But, just to have something here about, to help Westport residents with disabilities find services and resources to enhance their lives, to implement programs and bylaws that benefit Westport's residents with disability, and to ensure the Americans with Disabilities ADA is fully implemented, allowing access for all. I mean, that's it in a nutshell, really, And then have the numbers, we have a phone number that comes directly to my phone if anybody ever
Google
needs to
number.
call it. We have the email, which is a Gmail that people could use for contact, and anyway, so just some ideas.
Yeah.
What's your thought, Brian?
We should have contact information where people can get immediate help.
Right.
Oh, and the website, of course, right?
Yeah, it's one thing to say, well, we have an address on there, 816 Main Road, but it goes to the mailbox, and how often does the mailbox get checked? Somebody has an immediate problem, like the woman who called us
Right.
a year or so ago saying she wanted a handicap sign put up in her neighborhood because she had a disabled child.
That's right.
Exactly. That's why I helped Martin set up the Google number. So there's a Google number, so it's not going to his personal cell phone number. So we could actually have that
Somebody could call right away if they
publicized,
wanted to, yeah.
And it would go to Martin, and then Martin would be able to activate whatever's necessary to be activated to help that particular individual. So an emergency hotline or a reservation, like for transportation, anything, he could reach out to the Council on Aging, we'll say, if somebody needed a ride to a doctor's appointment. That's actually what the Council on Aging would do. So there are different services that are already in place in town, or he could actually refer that particular individual to the Council on Aging, and they
Yeah.
would be able to fit it into their own schedule.
Martin, speaking of the mailbox, have you checked the mailbox?
I was here, we were here doing we were here for the beach committee meeting, and we stopped in.
Yes.
There was nothing there.
And then I always stop in too, and if I find something, I usually drop it
She's
off
here
that
quite
way.
often, so I showed her where it was. She's probably here more than I
Oh,
am,
that's
so.
good. And the next thing I want to talk about before I forget, the receipts from Lee's.
Oh, yes, yes.
He did it.
Well, I didn't do it.
Well,
So why don't you tell
well, we
us
did a great job.
why
We
don't you
did a
tell
great
us
job.
what's happening?
Okay, so since nobody here wanted to take the receipts, you guys are all afraid to add up numbers. No, I asked Jim. Jim, my partner, is a little OCD, so he likes the numbers and all that stuff. Anyway, long story short, over the course of a couple of weeks, added them all together. Somebody, I mentioned this to Lisa, somebody had left in the mailbox, Brian, speaking of the mailbox, why it should be checked every so often, a large baggie
Bundle.
with a
Bundle.
ton of receipts. So
Yeah.
somebody from Town Hall, I would assume,
Yep.
dropped them off there. I have a box, as I mentioned, at Westport Ace Hardware, and I checked that maybe once a month, and there was enough, but 9/10 of it came from that bundle, maybe the rest of it came from the box at Ace Hardware. And so we've added them up, and it's somewhere around, now you get 1% for every, they ask you to put in bundles of $2,500, so 1% is $25, am I right? Am I right? Yes. So there's I don't know, a whole bunch of bundles, and it came out to about $400, to make long story short.
Nice.
So that's real nice, free money.
Absolutely.
Pay
So,
for the shirts and marketing. That's our marketing
there
program.
you go, there you go. Good point to look at it, yep.
So we don't even have to use the funds
There you go.
program, right?
Yeah.
so.
I mean, I think every so often, maybe we'll get, I think you put it on you can put it on the website that we accept. We got to get the word out, is what I'm saying, because not that many people know that we're collecting, and I don't know how we can do it. Once in a while, throw it in Shorelines, for example, or something, or maybe
Yeah.
ask Lee's to put it up at Lee's, maybe a flyer up there or something. But anyway, long story short, it's worthwhile. I think it's not going to happen all that often. I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that big bundle was, maybe once every 6 months or once every 8 months, and then
Well, when
we'll,
you consider that everybody in town goes shopping,
yes,
usually every week, every 2 weeks, and they go to Lee's many times because it's convenient. And rather than just throw the receipt away after you check it against all the items, like my wife does, they should be encouraged to gather them together and at one point drop them off here or at the Ace Hardware.
absolutely.
So-
And I will say this, though, that there are a lot of organizations in town that are doing it too, so we are in competition.
Yeah.
The Westport Water Rivershed Alliance for one, and I happened to be at Lee's when they brought in these paper bags filled with it. I said, oh my God. I mean, but they get a lot of members, they get it out in their newsletter, you know what I mean? So I'm sure all their members,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, who probably go to Lee's more than any place else.
And a lot of times, maybe that's just the first one that they remember because they don't know everybody
That's right.
else is doing it too. So maybe if there was a, I don't know if there's a list or anything, but I think what Martin is saying and Rick as well is that we just need to put the word out that,
Oh, yeah, we need to advertise it. for
Yeah.
that.
absolutely.
Because you're right, it's really simple to do, and
Yeah, and there's probably a lot of money out there that's just going into the garbage.
Exactly.
so it's very nice of Lee's to do that.
Couple things on the brochure, just to wrap that up. One,
Yes.
I agree, we should look at it from the perspective of if we don't update this for another 5 years,
Yes,
is it going to still be appropriate?
Right.
Because I think it would be nice to update it on an annual basis, but it's just not practical. So when we're telling stories of some of the recent events, I think we just need to be careful about our language and not be saying, and recently we did this.
Agreed.
Recently, it may not be 5 years it was recent.
that's a very good point.
Yeah.
So just be careful about language and things like that, but otherwise,
Instead of saying like the recently thing, we could do a bullet point of things we have accomplished, right?
Yeah.
In the past, like the playground. and stuff like-
Exactly.
I mean,
no, and I think we can call
Agreed.
out areas in town or things in town that have been proved as a result. I think the Mobley mats are a perfect example.
Yeah,
The picture
great.
of the beach with Mobley mats, it would not have happened without the Commission on Disability.
I agree.
That's timeless. We can talk about that. Yeah, I would agree that, next time that's something we can follow up on to figure out how we want to fill out those pages. The other one, and it goes just more towards my, call it like a business governance, and another board I'm on governance is, with all of these other pieces that we're layering in, whether it's the Google phone number or setting up a Gmail address for Commission on Disability, we as a commission should figure out how we want to document access to those tools. Because if something were to happen and it was one same with the website, right? Like right now, I'm the only one on our commission that can get into the website.
Good point.
In theory, the town could help. If something happened to me, the town could help somebody else on our commission get back in. But if something happens to a Gmail address, the town can't do anything about it. But then it's now a number that we've publicized that may not be accessible anymore. So there's a few things like that, whether it's the website, the phone number, I think a Gmail address. If we're going to put it on the brochure, we should make sure that, and maybe that's something we pass to the chair, that the chair has documented access
Right.
of how to get into those tools. So if we needed to reconfigure
Passwords
it, we
and
could,
things like
exactly,
that.
yeah.
Because you don't know that. You don't know what the phone number is.
Yeah,
And you don't know what the Gmail address is, do you?
No,
No, I mean, it's all brand new, so we'll have to get all that to you.
yeah. And then that's something that then, okay, we need somebody, we're going to reconfigure the number to somebody
Right.
else's number. Okay, great, here's how we do that.
Now, as far as the website, I've been noticing, you sent some information to Rick and it went to all of us that Carol
Carol Freitas, yeah.
is in charge of the,
No,
She was project
She sent the
manager.
email out on behalf of Mr. Hartnett.
oh,
But she was project managing the new website. She's the one
That's
in
what I thought.
town that was overseeing the transition to the.
so my point is, could we go to her if, God forbid, something happened to you and we needed to,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
you out of
She'll have
commission for a
access,
while or
and then,
something? Or
The other one was, the one that set me up originally was in the planning department.
was who?
Planning
Was
department.
it Nadia, Natalie? I don't recall, but anyways,
Okay.
Carol or,
They would know.
yeah, they
Okay.
would know.
But I agree with you. You're absolutely right, because this takes a lot of time, just trying to find out. Remember how long we
Yeah.
took to figure out who was in charge of the town
Yeah.
website? We
Yeah.
thought it was this John Branco for a while. I talked to John Branco. He's like, I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And people don't announce who is now in charge of that, you know? So that's why I thought, oh, Carol Freitas, that's great.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
at least within our own commission, I think we can do that.
Yes.
Make sure that we've got it documented so that.
Very good.
Rick, is the town all updated now in terms of their website?
So town website, our section, the town has moved over to the new website. Our section still needs to be updated, so that's on my list to go through. And there's a couple of meeting minutes we need to get up there, a couple of updates that didn't carry over from the old website, so that's still on my list to update. Jim Hartnett and Carol had sent out an email asking all of the different town groups to update that by, it's middle of September.
The
And then
18th.
just let them know, yeah.
18th.
So it'll be updated by then. So-
And how many editions of the minutes do you have to put up? I mean, that could go on and
They
on.
want it, from
It's
what
like-
I understand, all of 2025.
Yeah, well, they want to at least get updated to 2025. They migrated over everything we had, but the migration took longer than I think they anticipated, so.
But I mean, if you want to look, who's going to want to look up 2024? That's not available,
No,
correct?
but it'll be there, yeah, no,
Oh,
it'll
would
be
be
there.
there, yeah.
They migrated
Archives are there, but they,
But how far back, I guess, is what, and the reason I'm asking, I'll tell you in a second, but how far back would it go?
whatever we had, and I don't
Oh.
know how far back we went. I know I've been putting them in there since, what, 22 or 23, somewhere?
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
we've got minutes that go back there.
The reason
But
why-
when they updated the site in, say, May. So the minutes and agendas between May and August may not have all carried over. So
Okay.
those are the main ones that I've got to go back and do. But all the stuff prior to that should be in there.
Well, I'll talk to you in more detail, so I don't take up time here, but the reason, I'll bring this up real quickly, Brian, too, is that Lisa brought to my attention that Jim Hartnett said he had a couple of boxes of old records from the Commission on Disability
Okay.
way back, and I was going through it today, and there was some minutes that were from 2014, 15, so
Yeah.
my point is, do I really need those if you've got it available? Oh, good. Thanks.
I would say no for the website.
I mean, it's all, you know, it's all
Anybody on the
paper, I'm
website.
trying to get rid of the paper stuff that we don't need.
Yeah.
we have some things on sticks that we have.
Yeah, there was one that
haven't even looked
had,
at.
they had a zip drive.
Well, every month when I do the minutes, they go to everybody on the commission, but they also go
To the
to
clerk.
Jim's assistant.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the town does with them, but the town has them.
But they never told us we had to hold paper copies, I take it, so I'm,
Maybe
Right?
back
Am I
in-
right, Rick?
Maybe back in the day, they didn't
Yeah,
have
maybe
the
back in the day.
internet access, so they probably just put them in the files.
But now you're coming up on 12 years ago. It's
But Martin,
ancient history.
and you might appreciate this, being the dinosaur that I am,
yeah.
I maintain paper copies of all those minutes that I prepared.
So would you like me to save them? Is that what you're saying to me, Mr.
No,
Chairman?
I'm just saying that I don't trust the cloud.
Okay, you're an old timer like me, I'm kind of with you, but, yeah, I hear
Well,
you.
I
It's no big deal to save these, so, you know, it's not like it's
No,
a, it's not like it's a stack like
Because they've
that.
invited us to have a couple of shelves at the library, you know, for reference.
We're gonna make a little resource
A
area at the
resource
library. They're
area.
gonna give us a shelf, and we're gonna put, what happened?
Oh, I'm just, the clock.
Oh, my God, are you listening to me? Could you please make eye contact with me?
No, the reason why I looked at the clock was because you were talking so
Are you all the time you say that? I'm sorry, Brian, I'm just joking, I'm just
So I
joking.
think the point is that Mr. Hartnett had asked me to pick up the box. There was a couple of boxes. And there are some archival things that I think that we should hold on to because the lady who actually was at the signing of the ADA when
Elaine
it was
Ostroff.
came into fruition
Yep.
is there, and there's a lot of history that's there, which I feel should go, you know, whether it be in a scrapbook or some type of documented binder or something with regards to the role that the town of Westport played with ADA. So there's a lot of historical documents there that I think should be saved. And then I think Martin's point is there is some minutia there, if you will, and you know, there are certain things that we probably should put maybe aside for that purpose that you just mentioned. And then, is there anything there that we might want to incorporate in past brochures in a current brochure? So I think what we were doing is just going through all of it and then kind of like putting different piles aside, then to slowly bring it before the commission and say, what would you like to do with it?
great.
Last thing on the website, Brian, we just got an email earlier today from the town, and they've enabled, they're calling it a curated search capability, so that people can go to the website and put in keywords and have it go to
Oh,
certain
cool.
sections
Yeah.
in town. So they've asked each of the town groups to provide a list of keywords that they think should direct to, for example, Commission on Disability. So a layup, an easy one, is disability or
Accessibility.
accessibility, right? Yeah, so I think,
Handicap, wheelchair, accessible,
so that may be something we want to circulate.
Superman?
exactly.
Superman for Martin. But,
Or learning disability, or something, or, you know,
but in the interest of time, maybe what we can do is after circulate an email to the commission about recommendations on words, and then I can get those all submitted into the town on our behalf. And they'll set it up so that anybody who searches for those words, it will go to the Commission on Disability,
Right.
so.
and then just to follow up with what Rick had said, I agree, you know, when we're printing something, to make sure that it's in a general sense, so that, you know, we don't have to redo the media or the branding part of our commission, if it's in a general sense. But I think for the website, I think it's important to mention who the members are, because that's easily.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
That's easily
Yeah, sure,
changeable.
sure.
So then this way, if people are looking for different members, then they'll know that it's legit, they're a part of the commission and all of that. But I do agree with you, I don't think we should put names or anything in the brochures or anything, so that it stays updated.
Okay, moving along.
The next item on the agenda, actually, the next two will be kind of layups for you two guys.
Okay,
You had mentioned about extending an invitation to Jack Dresser of Share.
yeah, Sue Sherman approached me because Sue is involved with Share in some level, and she mentioned Jack Dresser, and Lisa and I Lisa informed me that the Council on Aging was going to have this guy, Jack, and talk about Share and what they do for the disabled community and so forth. So we went to that meeting. So Sue asked me if I would ask Jack to come to our meeting. I asked Brian if that was okay, and he said yes, he would like to see that happen. So I invited him to the next meeting. Okay?
Great.
So I'll just ask you, Brian, would you rather have him come at the beginning, or, you know, should I tell him a little later, or?
What I hopefully try to do every time we have a guest is have them come early,
Okay,
and we will take them first.
okay. So he said he already agreed to it. I'm just letting you know that that's going to happen at the next meeting. I'll confirm it with him, and they'll make their presentation, and you guys can ask questions if you have questions and so forth.
And I think that our next meeting is at the annex, but I'll confirm that for everybody. Oh, and Martin, before I forget, extend our thanks to Jim for
Oh, thank you. I
looking
will.
at all of those receipts.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
The next item is the meeting between the Commission on Disability and the Beach Committee on ways to make Charian Web more accessible. Now, you had a conversation with Sean
I did.
recently.
I'd called Sean, and he had invited members of the Commission on Disability to go to their next meeting to discuss this. I reached out to Sean to see if he was interested in pursuing this, because I know they've been working on this for years, of trying to get accessibility there, but and I thought he was going to say, Martin, we've tried this so many times, but he was very supportive and was very excited that some members would come. So I saw you sent the email out, and Lisa showed up, and we had a nice little session. Matter of fact, we were right here, and we sat in those two chairs right there. And they asked us what our thoughts were on it. I know we don't have much time, Brian. I can see why you were moving me along, and I appreciate that. This is a deep topic that we can get into more detail about in future meetings. But in a nutshell, the Beach Committee has asked us to come up with some ideas on what we thought, how we could make it accessible. He said for like the past, I sent out an update to all you guys, so I'm not going to go over this again so many times. They've been trying so hard to come up with an idea to make that accessible. And my only thought was, let's try a shuttle. And he thought that might be a good idea, but we would have to come up with a way to make it work, and also that it's not a free-for-all, as I mentioned in the email, that not everybody and their uncle, has got a bad leg, or somebody with a bunch of kids, they're going to want to ride and so forth. So I know that Sue wrote out about, and I think I responded to Sue to everybody, that she mentioned about the lifeguards, but the beach committee would like not to pull the lifeguards from their very important duties there. And the thought was maybe we can get a parking lot attendant, because they would like to have a parking lot attendant there to keep an eye on who's parking and who has a sticker. And at the same time could ferry somebody who's got a disability to the beach. Now, the question is how do we do that? How often is that going to happen? I don't think that often, maybe more often if people know it's available. Where do we get the vehicle from? Like, we need like one of those UTVs?
ATV.
ATV, all-terrain vehicle?
Yep.
Thanks. And my thought was that we'd charge a little extra money for it. And when we were at the National Night Out, let me give an example, we talked to a few people there, and I threw it out. I said, hey, how would you feel if you had to pay an extra $2 or $3? And one woman said, I'd pay $5 extra if I had that ability. So, because I didn't want to hear people say, well, we pay for the beach sticker, why should we have to pay for something extra, that kind of
And
idea.
then Sean also mentioned the possibility of when you get your beach pass.
Yes,
Having a note on there that you are disabled.
yes.
They're going
So
to
you can
add
take it from there.
I'm sorry.
I said you can take it from there,
They're going to add a handicap checkoff box. And keep in mind, when someone gets a placard from the state, they've already done their due diligence. So they know that a doctor's note has been written and that it's verified that they are in fact disabled. It's not just, that they have a bad knee or they just, not that it's not legitimate for other individuals, but
We can't do everybody.
the transportation is for people who are disabled.
Right.
And they wanted to structurally keep it, on that one focus point. And if they do bring a copy of their placard, that would allow them to check that box off on their beach pass. And then when it's researched, or if someone says that, the person is in fact disabled, then they would have that on the identification card here, I'm assuming at the town hall, when they actually get their beach pass. So he was, definitely all for that. And then the other thing is that they do have, like Martin had said, there has been issues with regards to parking. And people are parking there. And then some people obviously are parking in a handicap spot or maybe not parking in a handicap spot, that, there should be accessibility for that as well. So they do have a definite need for someone that's going to be monitoring the parking lot. And like Martin said, there's not enough for them to do with just that. So I believe there is a stipulation, and I'm researching it now, that it has to be someone who's of 18 years of age, number one, to drive the ATV. And then, of course, there is also a question of liability with regards to the insurance and the umbrella for the insurances. Sean didn't really seem to think that there was somewhat of an issue there because it does comply with the other transportation that they do already currently have on the beach. That particular individual would be an employee of the town,
Yep.
so that the insurance would then cover that particular individual, as opposed to having an outside company come in, which would bring a whole host of other concerns with regards to that particular coverage. Again, we're in the very infancy stage of researching as much as we possibly can. That's been kind of asked of us. So we are looking to get, the actual content, from these different agencies and the different people who work from the town that would be able to support the information that Martin and I would be looking for. There was also some grant money that may be available for the ATV. And then there's also, we figured out if we did it 35, I believe we said 35 hours a week, that would be the parking lot attendant / transportation person. I think it's just shy of $6,500 a year for that particular individual. And he also mentioned that it's a possibility because of the monies that they receive for the beach passes. But there also might be different agencies such as the commission or the Council on Aging or the beach committee that maybe everyone might come to the table and pick up a third or what have you. Again, that's all in, preempt discussions, but we are also going to be going to other commissions, and Martin brought this very important point up, that when we're meeting the other commissions, maybe there are other beach towns or cities that have maybe tackled something like this, and maybe we don't have to reinvent the wheel, and we maybe can learn from our neighboring cities and towns to address this very thing with our beach, as opposed to something that they have in their community, and maybe they have ideas, and we're successful in doing things, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Now, what we'd like your help with is, first of all, maybe the next meeting, again, bring some ideas of how you think this might be able to work. Our thought was, again, the phone number that we have, that somebody could make a reservation.
Right.
Right, let's think this out. Let's say you want to go to the beach on a Saturday, you call Friday and say, could we get the ATV available for this particular time? And that would give us time to let the attendant know that they have to transport the person on this day.
And they have to be informed that they have to confirm that they have a disability.
Yes.
Either by showing their license plate.
Placard.
Right.
Or the placard.
Yes.
Yes,
Confirms you have disability.
Correct.
Or even if you're on temporary disability through the state, because you have an injury.
Short-term disability?
Right.
As long as they have a disability.
something from a doctor or something that would say that, right?
Yeah.
That-
Or-
I think he said the placard, they wanted the placards. Because the state, I believe, has already done their due diligence based on short-term or long-term disability.
Right.
So then there's no guesswork as to someone saying, I just had back surgery and I'm going to be.
Well, Sean also mentioned that on these stickers for the parking lot, that they could put disability right on there as well.
Exactly.
So I think anything that we do temporary or on demand or that you have to call for is probably setting up to fail, because nobody's going to call, and then you've got a lot of overhead cost for a vehicle that may or may not be used. If I was the beach committee, one of the ways that I would be thinking about it is that everybody, able-bodied or disability, hates the walk to Cherry and Webb.
True.
It's awful. It's deep sand, and you're dry, especially if you're a parent dragging God knows how many toys and wagons
And kids.
in kids, and and then at the end of the day, it's even worse trying to get Jimmy and Susie back to the car. So, one way to look at it would be to do, like the state beach does for attendance, where, let's say there was a UTV that was available with a little pickup bed to throw your things and then enough seats for 5 or 6 people, and there was an attendant there that could do it. And any beachgoer could pay a nominal fee for a lift to the end of the run. Let's say that fee was $5. I bet a lot of families would show up and pay $5 to get to the end of the beach. And then when you're a disabled resident with a handicap placard, you get it for free. And then that way, it's, the residents that are able-bodied and capable of getting down, but choose for the convenience, it's helping to offset the cost for those in town that aren't able to. And it's a win-win for everybody. If you just would like a ride, it's available. If you need a ride, it's available. But it's something that's used throughout the summer, so as a result, the cost of the vehicle, the employee, the insurance, and all that is kind of washed across.
I brought that up right at the beginning, Rick,
Yeah.
about saying, my thought was it should be for everybody.
Yeah.
Not just disabled, but they were very much against it because they said it's going to be a free-for-all, it's going to be nuts. There's going to be long lines of people waiting to use that thing. People are going to have to wait for other people. They're going to be impatient.
Because everybody, as you said, everybody would want to use it.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to make that walk.
No.
It's a supply and demand problem. If
strictly-
$5 has lines, does 20? I don't know. I just think it's not our decision in there, but we certainly want to look out for the residents that need that transportation.
Well, listen, I went out there to see how I could navigate it myself on my 2 canes. And I was so tired after I got back, I asked them to give me a ride back.
Yeah.
And on the way back, some woman with a little child said, can you give me a ride on the way back? So my point is, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Can you give me a ride? So, I agree with you. I think I would love to see it for everybody. Because everybody, you're absolutely right. It's tiring to get out there no matter what age you are. But I don't know if it's actually doable.
I think.
They don't think so.
No, I think that's what they want to avoid. They don't want, like he said, a Disney tram. He doesn't want a tram going back and forth, supplying transportation.
To your point, I think it's a great idea. But I don't think it's a workable idea.
Yeah. They would
I
need,
think
a,
what
they would
my-
need a separate road too, just because the pedestrian
Yeah.
traffic and
Right.
the vehicle traffic, mixing that is.
And I think the birds are the issue though, too. They
We all
always-
thought about,
they're always the
the,
issue.
here we go again.
Yeah, the
You know,
birds.
some environmental
We heard
issues
about
will
the
come up.
birds and, you know, but you can use that particular
They're not
road.
just the,
The piping plovers, endangered
Piping
species.
clovers,
Right.
yes.
We-
But listen, here's the other thing, is once people find out, I mean, there were a lot of, I think this is on their mind too, I don't want to speak for the beach committee, but once people find out there's a shuttle, more people are going to come.
Right.
So you're going to have a problem with parking there, right? The parking lot is always packed as it is, and now you're going to have this crazy mob of people, and how you're going to get the, you know, anyway, so that's how they view it, and so their thought was, we'd like to just leave it to handicap, but
Yeah.
I agree with you, Rick, I think everybody should have that. People are going to be complaining.
I just, you know, my thinking is it's like with the accessible wheelchair for the beach. If it's only available on request with prior reservation, and we put all these barriers up, we're not actually creating it. We're not making it more
Make it accessible.
We're actually just putting these additional layers in place that nobody knows about, so nobody calls and it never gets used. And then they go, well, it was nice we did it, but nobody ever used it. But the reason it was never used is because it was hard to even know it was available.
Right.
So that's the, you know.
Sean made it
I
clear that
agree
they've
with
been,
that.
they've been at this for 20 years, and he said, I'd be really happy if you guys can come up. So if the shuttle idea does not work, if there's another idea folks have, I mean, I just don't know, I know they used a boardwalk, you remember that? There was like slats they used as a boardwalk, and
yeah,
Sean
and
tells
what
me
happened there?
No,
they
absolutely.
used it for firewood.
Somebody came in and ripped it all up to use it as fire.
Is that terrible?
Yeah.
Well, you know, the kids who want to have bonfires on the beach. Oh, look, here's some wood, and it's all seasoned and everything. It'd be great to start a fire.
And even with a boardwalk, it doesn't make it accessible for a wheelchair. You still got to go up those hills,
Right.
and you can't go right through the hills and make them all flat because it's environmentally.
And then when you get up there, you get to the sandy areas.
People complain about that too.
And Martin talked to Sean about the mobility mats over that section.
Oh, talk-
There's about a 30-yard section, there's some porta potties, let's say right here, and here's the beach area here. And from here to here, it gets filled with sand, you know, whenever just after this last storm, that was even a major storm on the coast. And my thought was, you know, I think, I know that Chris has already gone up and pulled that sand back. They don't like to do it 2 or 3 times during the year because, again, environmental reasons. They'll do it in the beginning of the season, that's generally it. The thought was if some sand blows on there, the lifeguards would brush it off. The beach committee said they could do that. But what happens when 2 feet of sand blows on there,
Yeah.
like this past storm? They can't put brooms to that. So I don't think the Moby mats would work, is my point.
Talk about, they had mentioned getting an additional Moby mat from where the bathrooms are down to the water.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. That they would pull that sand out of there and get down to there's a firmer ground underneath it and put a Moby mat there, but then somebody's got to maintain that all the time. And he was just saying right now, even though
covered.
Chris pulled that sand back maybe 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago, it's already covered over.
Yeah.
Well, and my thought is, it's a beautiful, wonderful thought, but it's not a doable thing. For us to figure out a way to get disabled people all the way up to Cherry and Webb and back, because we'd have to, maybe buy a gator. And then what are we gonna do about storing the gator?
Yeah.
And who's gonna drive the gator? And who's gonna get in line to get on the gator? And do we put the kids on the gator with all their crap? You know, it's nice to think about, but I just don't see a way to get it done.
Yeah.
The solution would be if the state approved the town doing what the state approved for itself to do.
I love that.
Which is to knock down dunes and put
I
in a
agree with
paved
you.
road.
Yeah.
But apparently, the state can do that to their own beach, but not.
As I walked around Horse Neck the other day, I thought the same thing. Oh my gosh,
Those-
they put this right straight through the dunes, no problem, tar, you know, asphalt or whatever.
And to be honest with you, it'd be so much easier for the state to do that because they have parking lots they don't even use.
Yeah.
And so why not just designate a handicap parking lot and then the accessibility for people that have challenges go to lot, I don't know, A, B, or C, and then they would be able to have direct accessibility.
I was talking
on
right at
safety.
Cherry and Whip, is that one of the restrictions on that road of not being able to make it more accessible is because, environmentally, it's, you can't knock down the hill.
Sure.
You can't, knock down dunes, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah,
But the
and-
reason Horse Neck is so accessible is because they did exactly what
You're absolutely
we
right.
can't, which is knock down dunes and pave a road in.
Yeah, and then they have that paved walkway, so you
Yep.
can get up there, you can take the walkway wherever you want to go, and then just a short hop onto the beach
Yeah.
from there.
Now, is it possible to address the state, to have, like, for instance, the chairs and everything, maybe at the beginning of the season, and do a demonstration on the beach so that people can see, you know, that those chairs are available, and to highlight, you know, the actual disability or the accessibility section, you know, to publicize it more? And
It's
maybe-
possible DCR does that already. I know they do it at that fair they do every year. Like they have the beach chairs there, but I'm not just saying to have it,
Just do
I don't
something
know.
like for Westport,
oh, I don't know.
you know what I mean?
But before we get on that topic, we only got a few minutes left. Let's stay on the Cherry and Web thing. So we will continue to try to figure something out and maybe come back with, I'm talking about Lisa and I, because we've agreed, am I right? And see if there's a workable plan with a shuttle, and if not, I don't think there's anything else to look at.
If not, we tried.
We've tried, is right. The only other thing I could say is we should have a beach accessible for disabled folks, and we have the Nubble, but as I just mentioned,
And we
we're
have,
always fighting that, you know what I mean? Fighting the weather there.
but we have North Beach, Baby Beach.
Yeah,
Which of all of them is the most accessible for
it is.
disabled people. And even through the recent hurricane, it's still accessible, which Beach Avenue is not. So, and
I think at some point we have to look at that Beach Avenue issue once again to say that, you know, we know that with climate change and rising ocean levels, it's going to take away more of that beach and also dump more sand over there. I don't know if it's worth the continued work for one or two people to sit there, because they don't even go on the beach. They don't really have a beach experience, because those movie mats stop right there in the sand, and then where do you go? So you basically, we saw somebody there one time that was just looking out over the ocean. That's,
yeah, one day that I was there, and my wife pushed me along the mobility mat to the down. So it got a beautiful view of Buzzards Bay. I was able to stick my toes in the sand,
okay,
and it was a nice day.
okay.
But
Well, then we should make that accessible as much as we can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just keep in mind that I think eventually the Mother Nature's gonna,
oh, and
You know.
every year when I talk to Ross about getting the mobility mats down, he talks to me about the fact that Mother Nature has changed the beach, and the mats aren't going to go in the same place.
I know he's not crazy. I mean, you know, he's very supportive of us, but he's also realizing that we've got to be aware of the fact that that's gonna be a difficult challenge, so.
Yeah.
I agree with you, you know,
And
Baby Beach and Horseneck Beach.
yeah, climate change is a real thing, whether people want to believe it or not.
Yeah.
And the beach changes, particularly down there, as we just saw with all that sand being dumped onto the road. But
Yeah,
you know, we've invested a lot of energy into that with the geogrids and the mobility
True.
mats, and talking to Chris Gonzalez about making sure the road gets cleared. And it is a beautiful spot.
it is.
Even if you go down and park on the geogrids, like I did one day with my wife and friends, we just sat there. On one side there was a sandy area, the other side you had a nice view of the harbor, and we sat there and had a nice time together. So,
Agreed.
I don't want to abandon Beach Avenue.
I don't either. No, I agree.
All right. Anybody have any final thoughts? Martin, I'm looking at you.
I'm looking at the clock. I'm all set. All set. Final thoughts. Thanks. Thanks. There was a lot of stuff to go over. I appreciate everybody.
Our next meeting is September 22, 2025, in the annex.
Great.
September 22, 2025, at 3:45 in the annex.
With our guest speaker, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll probably take no more, he said, than 20 minutes, so
And Martin, will you make sure he knows?
I will.
To the annex.
I will.
All right.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Anybody second that motion?
Aye.
All in favor of adjourning at this time?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.